Just driving through rural New Zealand this morning, phone mounted, cruise control on, and I just started thinking about how lucky we are to actually live here in New Zealand. It's safe, it's beautiful, we've got space, we've got freedom, we've got the internet. You know, it's actually a powerful combination. And by the way, I'll just have to say, the Tesla is fantastic for long trips. The self-driving, just keeping you in lane, watching the traffic in front, just gives you a second to turn on a podcast or grab a coffee or whatever it might be. Just keeps things a little bit safer. Anyway, look, we have got issues in this country, right? And I've talked a lot about councils recently and how they're slowing things down, and red tape that drives you completely nuts, housing policies that change every 5 minutes. But even with all of that, I think there's still a lot of opportunity here, right? I mean, think about our grandparents. You know, they didn't have access to global knowledge. They couldn't build an online business. They didn't have Wi-Fi. Man, I remember when we got a colour TV, you know, and it had 2 channels. So, sure, it's frustrating at the moment, and especially with the economy in a slump, you know, and but in some ways, you know, it's never been a better time to build something, you know, whether it's a building or it's property. Interest rates are slowly coming down. I think people are finally waking up to the realization that we need more affordable housing, and the government can't do it alone. We need private landlords. We need, you know, private rental providers to work alongside government and charities. And we need to build everything from studios right up to luxury homes. And yes, there is a bit of an oversupply in some parts of the country. I think there are a few too many townhouses in Auckland at the moment. But, you know, that'll work through over the next couple of years. We've had a big change in immigration. We've had a lot of people leaving, a lot of new people coming. And it's my guess is that a lot of the people leaving had homes, and a lot of the people coming can't buy yet. Whether it's because it takes some time to become a New Zealand resident to be allowed to buy a house, or whether they just need to get established, you know, and actually save some money and be able to get a mortgage. So, but I doubt that we have an oversupply of affordable housing. I mean, if we talk about things that I build, like duplexes and townhouses and in small blocks close to shops and schools and hospitals and things like that, I don't think we have an oversupply of that anywhere in the country. I want to mention a word on profit. Right? Some of the feedback I get sometimes on some of my videos is, "Oh, you're just doing this to make a profit. You're just building all these houses because you want to make money." Of course, I want to make money. I'm in business. Making a profit is a good thing. You only pay tax when you make a profit, and it's taxes that fund all the things that we need in this country, right? For our education and healthcare and roading and people who need assistance or benefits, all of that comes from taxes. You know, some people seem to think that the government can just create this money out of nowhere. Well, yeah, they tried that during COVID and borrowed something like $50 billion and pumped it into the economy. And what happened? The cost of living went through the roof. You had all of this extra money chasing the same number of goods and services, and the cost of everything goes nuts, all right? So that doesn't work. You know, we need businesses to make a profit, and small business is the backbone of this country, right? It's small businesses, you know, mum and dads and a couple of employees, you know, they're the ones who actually employ the people and pay the tax, and they're just not being supported at the moment. So, and just before I go, I've just started a course. I'm going to offer it free of charge. I'm calling it Build It Up. I'm working on the first 10 videos. And the idea is it's in response to a bunch of questions I've had from people around, you know, what can I do? You know, how do I get ahead? Where do I start? So that's what this series is going to be about. So keep an eye out for that. All right, thanks.